After the mile split you ran at SECs, how was it determined that you weren't going to run the mile at nationals?
Yeah, for me, it's always been, at least since I've come to college, it's been focusing on the 5K and the 3K, and the mile's always been kind of one of my favorite events, even in high school. So being able to get that chance to run a fast mile at New York was really exciting for me, and honestly, like kind of after that mile, kind of put in the question of maybe running it at nationals or something like that. But I think just running a fast time, my goal is to get sub 4:30, and I think after that I've been pretty content with not running the mile at NCAAs, just knowing it'd be a lot on my body to run the mile and the 5K or the mile and the 3K. So this is the best decision, and we've thought it over a lot.
After the cross country, obviously disappointment, which hopefully wasn't too disappointing, but because it was still a pretty amazing accomplishment. I don't think anybody was catching Edna that day, but how did you handle that disappointment, and how quickly did that turn into motivation for track and running 15-17 Boston 2 weeks later?
Yeah, it definitely served as a lot of motivation, but I always kind of look back on it and everyone tells me how does that disappointment kind of help you motivate and stuff. And I mean, take to me 2 years back and 11th place finish I'd be ecstatic about. So I mean, nothing obviously to be too disappointed about, but clearly when you're coming as a favorite and you don't perform to what you wanted to perform that day, it's kind of frustrating and kind of brings you back to your training and your basics. And I think it just kind of helped me realize how much I did want it and how an off day is really frustrating, but how to handle that, and knowing that my fitness was way higher than it was on that day, and that showed throughout this indoor season.
Did you sit down pretty quick after cross and write down some of these goals and these times you've been running, or have you exceeded what you thought you could do?
Yeah, I've had high goals going into indoor, and I kind of sat down and Burns wanted me to take a little break before indoor, but I really wanted to do the Boston 5K just like we did last year, so he let me eventually do that, and I think it's been kind of rolling since then.
How excited are you to, or like how helpful is it to have someone like Edna out there who can kind of push you in these races?
Yeah, it's always extremely helpful to have people that are very competitive, and just women in general have been excelling like crazy in distance events, and I think that is just really inspiring and motivating just to see everyone moving forward and moving forward together.
Have you and her talked at all at any point?
A little bit, but we don't really race that much, so but hopefully a good race for nationals.
In a lot of these individual events, you're usually way in front, and then at the SEC tournament, at long distance medley, you guys were way behind, and you had that huge comeback. What was that like, kind of knowing that you had to make a huge comeback if you guys were going to win?
Yeah, going into it knowing like I wasn't going to run the mile at SECs, and I wanted to do my best for my team for that race because I was being put out of that one. But just going into it not looking how far ahead people were, I was just like, get the baton, and I know I'm going to run as hard as I can no matter if we're in first or if we're in last, because we really wanted to get our time down. So in my head it was like, yeah, the girls were way ahead, but I didn't even cross my head that I might not catch them, because I was like, I'm going to run as fast as I can. So, but always having like a team to run for obviously motivated me a lot and helped me run that fast time, and just clipping girls off and having, like, honestly, our team was awesome in the crowd. You could hear the MIZ chanting while I was running at College Station, so it was a pretty cool experience.
Sorry, yeah, obviously trying to be a national champion again. What are you looking forward to in this meet coming up?
Just looking forward to competing. Been working really hard all winter, so just knowing that this is kind of the fun part. Just this is what I've been working for this whole winter, and those cold miles and the treadmill miles and the repeats, and now I just get to have fun and compete.
So the 5K is the day before the 3K, right? So how much of your goal is to win, and how much of it is like to kind of get the time as low as possible? Or are you going to try and like conserve energy at all?
Usually just kind of, I play out different race scenarios in my head, and I know though, like, most likely it's going to go out fast, and I'm just kind of preparing for that fast effort and then another fast effort the next day, and we kind of practice that in SECs a little bit, so we've been preparing for either scenario.
The 4:27 mile in New York, was that surprising at all, or did you feel like you were in that kind of shape to do that, pull off the number 4 time in college history, which has since been jumped to put you 5? But did you think you were capable at the time?
That was really surprising, just because my whole goal was I really wanted to break 4:30, but I wasn't really quite sure what kind of speed shape I was in, and that was kind of the first real test of the season. And Coach Burns is like, I think you're really going to surprise yourself on this race and just go out there and compete and try to get in the top 3. And the time really just, honestly, you could have told me any time after that race, and I was like, oh, I have no idea.
And a week later, the 3K collegiate record. What was the goal time for that? Did you feel?
That was kind of the same scenario. I definitely was not planning to break the collegiate record on that meet. I was just hoping that I could break 9, honestly, because I haven't broke 9 before that. So just going out there again and being competitive and actually taking the lead at one point, which that wasn't in the cards at all, but just being able to be competitive in those kind of races was really a huge step for me.
And the names of the women behind you now on all these national all-time collegiate lists are, Jenny Behringer-Simpson, Emily Sisson, Colleen Quigley, Shelby Houlihan, Lisa Ohl, ladies, from Iowa natives, and even Katie Flood from your high school in Dowling Catholic. What's that feel like? Those ladies have been, a lot of those ladies have been, wearing that USA jersey and have got great sponsorship contracts and are running the Worlds and the Olympics and even bringing home medals. I'm sure that the last year now that you keep doing what you've done indoors, that's the next step. And what's it feel like to be among their company and think that you've got a possible future like the ladies have laid out in the last few years in American distance running?
Yeah, it's amazing to even be considered in their company, and just knowing that when I was younger, I've always looked up to them, and even Jenny Simpson, like seeing her run. I've watched her run when I was like 11 or 12, so it was just cool seeing that and seeing all their successes. And back then, if you had told me I'd be listed among them, I would probably never believe that. But just hoping to represent that and represent Iowa well.
How often do you have to stop yourself from thinking about the summer and making decisions of agents trying to knock you down and shoe sponsors and being a professional? How often do those thoughts creep in?
A little bit, but I just kind of relax and just know that this is just an exciting process, and just to think of how far I've come, and never would have thought of being in this kind of situation. So anytime I get stressed about that kind of decision, I just think of the excitement of it all.
Between you and Edna, do you envision taking a collegiate record to win NCAAs?
I can see it going out pretty fast, and for my case, I hope it does, because I'm excited to see what we can do.
Last 2 for Karissa.
Last year at Indoor Nationals, you were second in the 3K by a really close margin. So has that finish sort of motivated you at all to get where you were now as the record holder?
Yeah, I think from last year to this year, I'm a totally different runner and a lot stronger than I was last year. And I took the lead in the 3K, and I wasn't comfortable with that. And I think at this point, I've been taking the lead in a lot of my races and kind of getting more comfort in my kick and knowing when to kick more. So that's kind of motivated me in a way of learning, I would say.
How inspiring is it to have someone like Megan as a teammate and see what she did at SECs?
Yeah, it's truly inspiring, and hearing her story is just incredible, and it kind of makes you take a step back and appreciate things yourself too, because it is really crazy when you have people that can barely even walk and stuff, and you're doing what she's doing and what we're doing every day, and it's truly something to be thankful for.
Okay. Thank you, Karissa.
Thank you.